Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm about to do another Midwest upgrade for my AK-47 this week. And it's going to be upgraded. The upgrade's going to go on that one. This is the one that I did a couple months ago. I did a video on this. And basically, this was basically an AK pistol. First thing I did is I put the brace here so I can shoulder this and fire this like an SPR. And then I also put the diverter here, the muzzle, diverter to, quiet the thing down a little bit because the short AK-47 is extremely loud, and this has been working pretty good. But the one of the things that I have found is with the red dot mounted on the gas rail, and so basically, and it's not mounted directly on the gas tube; it's mounted on a rail. The way this system works is there's a rail that basically attaches to the barrel. Okay, so the bottom rail attaches to the barrel, and that gets basically locked into place. And then the top rail attaches to the bottom rail, and that's where your red dot sits. And that's kind of important. I have considered a different system where basically you just get you replace the gas tube. And with a gas tube that has a rail on it, and what happens is because the rail is attached directly to the gas tube, it gets extremely hot, and that will tend to eventually burn out your red dot. Because this top rail is not attached directly to the gas tube, it allows it to vent and cool down a bit. So as you can see, it's got lots of air holes. Okay, so the coolest thing I have found about this design, now mind you, this is an AK pistol. It has, a tape measure. Basically, this has a 8-inch barrel, and ever since I attached the red dot on top of the gas tube, I have been getting amazing accuracy. This is at 110 yards. Okay, at 110 yards, I'm inside of 3 inches. Okay, on an 8-inch barrel. Okay, which I find is just amazing. That's that's pretty much what I hit with my Palmetto, which has a 16-inch barrel. That is amazing accuracy. Now, mind you, this is my best group. I did try a couple of different groups. I did 2 groups here where I got one. The first group was the ones that you see in circled in black, and then the second group was up here. But I think that basically I was using some ammo that a friend of mine had left behind, and the ammo had kind of been rolling around, and I think got a little bit dirty. There was a little, like a tiny little bit of buildup on the bullet itself, and I think that might have caused this grouping to open up. And then what I did is I just got a brand new box of this Wolf Polyformance. I don't know if that's supposed to be performance, and they just misspelled it, and they wrote Polyformance, but that's what it says, Wolf Polyformance. And I threw this in, and presto, I got a 3-inch group. And this is the last time I shot this gun with that ammo, I pretty much got 3-inch group. So I'm getting a consistent 3-inch group. I mean, when I say consistent, I mean if I'm doing my job right. As long as I don't, I don't pull the trigger, or as long as I don't screw up, I can get a consistent 3-inch group out of this gun with that 8-inch barrel. So with this gun here, right, this AK has the 16-inch barrel, and basically I'm going to get the same rail system from Midwest, and I'm going to get rid of this wood over here, and put that rail system on there, and mount the red dot over here. Okay, I've been using this mount that attaches to the side rail over here. The side rail mount, and I've never been able to get more than I don't think I've ever gotten better than a 6 or 5-inch group with this gun. Okay, I have another AK that that has a side mount rail. On that one, I believe I've come inside of 5 inches. I think that has a better rail, it might just be the way that that's riveted in. Who knows? But I think that this was a $25 rail or $25 rail, and I was shooting this the other day, and I noticed that basically the locking system had loosened up, so I tightened it up a little bit, and then basically that ended up breaking, and this basically just fell right off. So I was, basically here's my thinking process. Initially, I was just gonna replace this piece, right? The part that broke, and like I said, this one was $25, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, if this one was $25, maybe I should get a better one. Maybe that's the reason why I haven't been able to get it better than the 6-inch grouping with that gun. So basically, the better ones, I mean, they're coming at about $50, and they're still kind of like no-name brands. I found a Midwest side rail, right? That one was $100. So I'm like, shit, it's $100 basically for the side rail mount. And basically this whole thing over here with the key mod, this whole thing with the bottom rail, top rail was like $80, $85, something like that. So it's cheaper, and I think this is a much better sighting system. The thing with this rail, I think even with ideal conditions, let me kind of slide it back in there. I mean, obviously I can't lock it down because the locking mechanism is broken, but even under ideal conditions, I mean, if I press on this, I mean, right now, that's going to move and wiggle a little bit. So I think that this is I think it's a flawed design from its inception. I think even under the best circumstances, you're going to get less performance with this, or less accuracy with this design, compared to having the rail, the red dot mounted up here on the gas tube. Okay, just because, like, if you look at this, I mean, basically this is, it's attached. It's got two screws in here on both sides that you basically use a Loctite. And this is, I mean, even if you press on this, if you drop this, this is going to be a lot harder to break. I mean, because this stands out, and I never really dropped this rifle, but if I did, just because this is sticking out and above, I mean, I could definitely see if this thing drops, I could definitely see this rail system breaking more easily. Now, the thing that I did kind of like about this is that, like when I shoot my AR-15s, I'm used to having the red dot like towards the rear. So that's why I was always kind of biased. I kind of favored this design in the past, just because it was closer to the AR-15, which I probably shoot more often. And I think that's the reason why I've kind of preferred this in the past. However, ever since I upgraded this one, and on this one I had no choice. I had to mount the red dot up here because there was no side rail mount on this. So this left me no choice. So once I put the red dot up here, and I kind of gotten used to shooting this, I've kind of gotten comfortable with the idea of the red dot being up there. And realistically speaking, it shouldn't make that much of a difference, because here's the thing: if you're using your iron sights, right? You're looking from here to here. You're focusing on your on your front sight, which is all the way at the front anyway. So having the red dot up there really is not that much more different than focusing on your front sight. So that's kind of what I found. I mean, the only drawback I can really see to this is that basically you have that little extra weight in the front. Okay, so it has a little, I mean, it's a tiny weight, but it puts more weight towards the front as opposed to having it back here. But overall, there's less weight with this design, because what happens with this design, right? If you have this design here, first of all, you have the weight of the side mount itself, okay, and then you also have to put a riser on your stock, because what happens is because the red dot is now sitting so high. Because remember, your iron sights are down here. All right, they're all the way down here. So the stock that comes on an AK is set up so that your face will normally line up to the iron sights that are down there. So basically, because now your red dots, your scope's all the way up here, you gotta put a riser back here so your face will come up higher and you can get, you know, behind the scope. So you're adding two pieces to this. You're adding the mount, and you're adding this this riser here, and this is a pretty cheap one. You know, this, I think, you know, I mean, this is a pretty cheap one. I can definitely see if this thing got dropped, banged up a little bit, this thing would probably come off. And if I get a better one, that's probably gonna add even more weight. I mean, basically, I'd have to get something that was actually like built into the stock. So you have two extra pieces here, and you know, you still obviously you have the wood, which is might be a little heavier than the aluminum. Probably not that much heavier, but you still have the wood. Whereas with this design, you know, when I, you know, basically that when I switch it over, the risers, the stock riser is going to come off, the side mount's going to come off, and I'm removing the wood and replacing it with the aluminum, you know, with the aluminum rail system. So if anything, I'm actually a little bit lighter because the, you know, than if the gun was only using iron sights, because the aluminum is probably a little bit lighter than the wood. So I'm actually coming out ahead as far as, you know, weight reduction. Whereas with this design, I got the riser plus the mount, and then I have a system that I think is more vulnerable. If you drop it, this gets hit, you know. So that's the reason why I'm switching over. I'm basically, I'm going to upgrade this gun to the Midwest system, and I'm pretty sure that once I upgrade it, I suspect that gun is going to become a lot more accurate, just because the red dot is going to be a lot more stable on this system. But we're gonna, you know, once I install it, I'll test it out, and then I'll know for sure. But I think that has to be the main difference, though, because like I said, I have an 8-inch barrel here compared to a 16-inch barrel, and the 8-inch barrel is giving me a 3-inch grouping, whereas that 16-inch barrel is giving me 6 inches plus, sometimes 8 inches. So that has to be because of the way that the scope is mounted. I think it's moving, and I'll know for sure this coming week. This Midwest has already shipped it to me, so it's in transit, and hopefully I'll have it Monday, Tuesday. I'll make the upgrade, and then I'm looking forward to testing it out and seeing how accurate this rifle will become once I do that upgrade. I'm not somebody that just upgrades things just to upgrade things. There has to be a real benefit. Like, I was perfectly happy keeping this system the way it was until this broke, and basically I came to the realization that I really, you know, a $25 side mount is just not going to cut it. I need to upgrade to something a lot more expensive that's going to be a lot sturdier. And you know, I think the best one out there was the Midwest one, which was $100 anyway. And using that KeyMod rail system is actually $10 cheaper. So there's absolutely no reason why I shouldn't go with that design compared to that design. So there are my thoughts on that. If you got any comments, please post them. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Talk to you guys next time.